There's an incident there on Christmas Eve at the Tesco shopping centre in Castlebar involving Enoch Burke's family, or some members of his family, and Alan Dillon T.D, Fine Gael T.D. The carry-on has been described by Paul Keogh T.D, a colleague of Alan Dillon's, as well. He described certain members of the Burke's family as lunatics after they berate fellow politician in shop. They basically confronted Alan Dillon and were asking him questions about Miss Justice Maura Whelan, her appointment to the Court of Appeal, and so on. And if we have a look here, we will...
Bigger salary.
My son is in prison.
You can't run away.
Because of
You can't run away from people.
Appointed to the appeal court.
Yes.
Breaking
And
every
you
Christmas
can't-
Eve.
no,
My
Enoch
son's
Burke is in prison.
She was appointed.
You are on a
Went to the appeal court. Alan was appointed to Leo Bradford broke every rule in the book. You are duty to
Moira Whelan.
You must answer questions. You must answer questions, Alan.
Yes, he must answer questions.
My son is in prison because Leo Bradford broke every rule in the book. Moira Whelan, you know, didn't apply for the position. Procedures were bypassed.
Moira Whelan should not be on the
At the
Court of
cabinet
Appeal.
table, Alan.
What do you have to say
What
about
do
it,
you have
Alan?
to say?
Enoch
What do you have
Burke
to
is
say?
in
Enoch
prison
Burke,
in my choice.
What do you have
Enoch Burke, you're on a salary of over 100,000. You have a duty to the people.
Denying
What
the
do you have
people.
to say?
What do you have 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 to say?
Enoch
What do you
Burke
have
is
to
in
say,
prison
Alan?
in Mount Joy.
We're just here in Castlebar, and Alan Dillon, the Fine Gael TD for Mayo, has just got back into his car and ran away because he can't answer questions about Moira Whelan on the Court of Appeal, a judge who should not be there. Enoch Burke in prison. She put him behind bars, and he's got out now. He's running away because he refuses to answer any questions.
It's
What a
important to
disgrace.
remember that Moira Whelan didn't even apply for the position. She was appointed in 2017 by Leo Bradford when he was appointed as Taoiseach in 2017.
Alan Dillon was blocked a number of times, according to the reports, from going into the supermarket, and basically he gave up and quit. He abandoned his shopping trip. So to put it in context, this is a politician, an elected member for Mayo, who was unable to go to his local shop, the Tesco shop in Castlebar, on Christmas Eve and do his shopping like a normal Christian. And to put it in context, a lot of people would view the behaviour of the Burkes on this particular occasion as being beyond the pale. In other words, way over the top, particularly given their religious devotion and strong feelings about religion and so on. Alan Dillon has an entitlement to go, just like any other citizen of this republic, to Castlebar, to Tesco, and pick up whatever he might have forgotten or whatever on Christmas Eve and do the shopping. But many people have significant concerns about that and think that the behaviour was absolutely reprehensible. There's a second aspect to it, though, that puzzles me, and that is this focus on Miss Justice Maura Whelan and her appointment. Miss Justice Maura Whelan would come from a different viewpoint, a different ideology. She'd be more left-leaning, certainly, than the Burkes, and let's face it, most people are probably more left-leaning than the Burkes. But it's inevitable that they're going to have a difficulty with her insofar as she comes from a completely different background, a completely different ideology, a completely different viewpoint, worldview. But I can't understand what the focus on Miss Justice Maura Whelan is, because she delivered a judgment on the 7th day of March in 2023 from the Court of Appeal, and I'll stick it up on the, or I'll stick a link underneath the video here and you can have a look at it yourself. But it says in the heading of the judgment, it says, Judgment of Miss Justice Maura Whelan delivered on the 7th day of March 2023, concurring with the judgments of the President of the Court and Mr. Justice Edwards. So Miss Justice Maura Whelan did not make this decision on her own. Her decision concurred with the judgments of the President of the Court and Mr. Justice Edwards. And in the very first paragraph, and I'll stick it up on the screen, I've had the opportunity, she says, paragraph 1, I have had the opportunity of reading and considering in draft form the judgments just delivered herein by the President and Mr. Justice Edwards, and I entirely concur with their respective reasoning and conclusions. I make the following supplemental observations. So she made further observations with which Mr. Burke was unhappy, but she concurred with the reasoning and conclusions of the President of the Court of Appeal and Mr. Justice Edwards. So why there would be this focus on Miss Justice Maura Whelan by the Burke family at this stage is beyond me, because clearly the 3 judges concurred with each other's decision, and that decision was to go against Enoch Burke, along with the judgments or determinations of other High Court judges who had previously dealt with Mr. Burke at various stages in relation to various motions and so on. And in the substantive matter, the substantive issue of the decision between the Board of Management of Wilson's Hospital School and Enoch Burke. And the substantive decision, remember, was focused on whether the school was entitled to do what they did, suspend Mr. Burke, etc., etc. And the High Court found that they were perfectly entitled to do so. So this focus on Miss Justice Maura Whelan is puzzling to me, to put it mildly. It's as if she made the decision on her own. She didn't. There was 3 judges in the Court of Appeal, and each of them concurred with the decision. Hope you find this video useful. If you do, would appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up down below. And you may be interested in subscribing to my YouTube channel. And if you are listening on Spotify or iTunes, you can. I'd appreciate if you give me a follow or give a review as well. Thanks a lot.